Welcome. Welcome to Sunday night's edition of the Final Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Turbo the CEO, brought to you by our Trinity Entertainment, our Trinity Music Group. Before we get started, I have to drop this disclaimer. I don't think I dropped it on the last couple episodes, but this is for entertainment purposes only. And I'm not a smart guy. I don't know anything. And I thank everyone for tuning in. We got a great show for you tonight. And this one is going to be dear to me. I'm holding it to my chest, close to my heart. We're going to talk. We're continuing the series on business and different aspects of business. And with that being said, I hope everyone has had an amazing weekend. Looking forward to being productive and getting things done this week. Make sure you prioritize, make sure you hydrate, and keep a cool mind. A little bit about some admin notes, and then I'm going to talk about why I have this hat on. So, a few admin notes I've noticed throughout social media and my own personal life. People are crashing out. And I hate to say it that way, man, but the crash out is real. And I'm not laughing at you guys, but I need you to reel it in, right? Crashing out is showing the lack of emotional intelligence. And you don't want to be walking around. We have enough titles, right? You don't need the title of having low emotional intelligence. So I need you to just calm down, reel it in, understand that things will always be what they are. You don't need to know everything. Stop watching the news. Stop doom scrolling. I'm not saying don't watch the news altogether, but what I'm saying is give it a break. Watch the local news. If there's some highlights, you get a notification on your phone or something like that. But the doom scrolling, the constant watching of the news, trying to stay abreast of the world events that you have absolutely no control of, the things that are happening in the political space that you don't have control of. Listen, we've seen worse. We've gone through worse. This country outlasted the Great Depression, World War I, World War II. We've had and Vietnam and the Iraqi wars, the war with Afghanistan. We've survived them all. We've survived, and God bless to everyone. We've survived 9/11. We've survived the attack on Pearl Harbor, and we're still here. Did I miss anything? We've had great presidents. We've had some not so great presidents, and we're still here. We've had evildoers and people who are disgusting, and they're popularized because either they're celebrities or they can be an athlete, somebody very popular, social media influencer. There are disgusting people everywhere, and we are still here. So I need you to take a moment. I need you to take a moment and breathe. I need you to take a moment and relax. I need you to get grounded. Go pick up a book. I need you to get grounded in your breathing techniques. I need you to get grounded in the elements, becoming more spiritual, becoming enlightened. Doing all these things will bring you a peace of mind. And you got to hydrate, man. It's so important. 90% of y'all, the problem is you dehydrated. The water isn't flowing. The salt, and you need salt. The salt isn't flowing. You need to hydrate, man. You need to hydrate. And those are my admin notes tonight. So you're probably wondering why do I have this hat on? So I see a trend that everyone everywhere are wearing cowboy hats. Well, I didn't want to miss out on my opportunity, although this is not a cowboy hat. This is what this is my swag. So, you know, this is what I have, and it's close to it, in my opinion. So we're going to get right into it. Tonight's show. Um, Harnessing spiritual energy for success. Harnessing spiritual energy for an entrepreneur and being a business owner. And you're hold on. I got some books that I want to show you guys, but I need to move them. They're kind of in the way. All right, there. We got them out the way. So, spiritual energy and entrepreneurship, spiritual energy and being a business owner. One, and this is all this stuff is my opinion. You have no idea, and this is relative, the amount of spiritual energy it takes to be an entrepreneur. And you may be a believer or you may not, and I'm gonna break it down for you. Being an entrepreneur is like the study of alchemy, right? Whereas you're taking nothing, forming an idea, and bringing it to something to fruition, whether it's tangible or it's intangible. You're bringing it to life for the most part. It's the same thing with being an entrepreneur. And in that, you form your ideas, you form the necessary things that need to go with that business, whether it be your mission statement, your business plan. I don't need to go down the list. If you're an entrepreneur, you know you what you had to do, the logos, the creativity that goes into that. That's amount of spiritual energy because it's in the belief that you can create, you could take something from an idea and create it into something else or create it into something tangible. Um, the idea of having it be born, it's like a baby. It's like a baby, bringing it from being born and then taking it through the different stages of life. That's how a business is, from infancy to adolescence to adulthood. Adulthood. Some people hold on to businesses as the business grows. Some people sell, you know. But as it relates to having that spiritual energy, you have to believe every day you wake up. Every day you have to believe that what you're doing is going to be accomplished. And that's with all things. But we're talking about business ownership and being an entrepreneur. You you have to know that every day you're plugging away into something that's not something. It's nothing right now, but you're plugging away at it and it will become something. That's in a belief. That's spiritual. You often you may pray. You may pray that you want this to work. You may meditate that you are trying to bring something into fruition. The idea. You meditate and you pray that once it becomes a thing, that everything is in place. Your I had a personal story. I started an IT company and I'm a disabled veteran, and I've been submitting for the last 2 weeks on how to get several business certifications from SBA and Vet Biz. And there's a ton of information that you have to go and fill out on different forms for the IRS, sam.gov, like I said, SBA, and now they're linking and communicating, but there's a wait time. But to get certified, there's all this information that you have to go and plug in. And once you complete it, you have that hope factor. I hope it goes through. I hope this works. Then you have to wait. You wait 24 hours, and they may send you a reply. So my first time I put the information in, I got a notification the next day that something didn't marry up. It wasn't clear, so I had to go and make some changes to clarify exactly what my company was, the address, all that stuff. It needs to match, and the TIN matching. It's your EIN, and you have a TIN, your tax ID number, and your EIN, and that information has to match in those systems. So if the address is off or the naming convention is off, then it throws everything else off. So it's not an easy task. A lot of stuff in being a entrepreneur or business owner, it's not easy, especially when you first start out and you don't have a team and you're just plugging away every day trying to bring this baby that's an idea to life. So there's a lot of spiritual energy in that. And for those who are not believers, this is some may call it alchemy. But that's my little personal story on some things that I've been dealing with. And the IT company is called Saturn Digital Networks Development. That's SDND, or SAT DigiNet for short. And the website is out. I'm still plugging away on the website. You can go check it out at satdiginet.com, SATDIGI net.com, and check out the website. A little brief summary of Sat DigiNet. I haven't memorized this yet, but I'm gonna read it to you. Saturn Digital Networks Development, SDND, is a service-disabled veteran-owned business with decades of experience in providing innovative technology and consulting services. Our key focus is to leverage the power of technology to address the unique needs of our clients, transforming their challenges into opportunities through tailored solutions. Our ultimate purpose is to advance technology to serve and protect our world, ensuring a positive impact on society. There you have it, people. Sat DigiNet is a harmless plug. Listen, man, we're gonna get right into the show. I've given you enough information to show you exactly what direction we're going into tonight, and give you a little bit of understanding of what spiritual energy is as it relates to being a business owner. A lot of people are probably asking, what is spiritual energy? How can it be defined? And the context of entrepreneurship. And I just broke that down for you, and in several ways. So, I advise, if you're interested in this topic, because if you weren't, you wouldn't be watching, take some notes. Take some notes. Spiritual energy refers to an inner force. It's an essence. It's what fuels our creativity, intuition, and resilience in business. It's what gets you up in the morning to say, you know what, I got to get this business together, and nothing else is pushing you. What do you think is pushing you? Nothing else is pushing you. It's your inner self. We all have souls, right? It's your inner self. It's what is pushing you. It's nobody on your Yes, definitely divine intelligence. It's nobody that is on your back, not a supervisor, not a CEO. No one is on your back telling you you have to do this. This is divine and absolutely divine intelligence that's pushing you forward and giving you the resilience to continue on your mission to take something that is nothing, right? You put it on a piece of paper. You say, you know what? I got this idea that I need to bring to life that's going to help the world, and that's the whole point of it all, right? We're here to help each other. We're here to help the world. So it's the manifestation. It's the passion. It's your purpose. It's what's driving you to make these decisions and to create something innovative. That's spiritual energy. That's absolutely what it is. You you as a creator, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, even if you have capital and you say, you know what, I'm gonna go buy this business. You have to believe that based and the universe is all based on numbers. So now it's science, right? Universe is based on numbers. You have to believe that because of past performance of this particular business and the success of this business, now this business is for sale, you're basing your purchase of this business off past performance. What's past performance? Past performance is numbers, right? A belief in numbers and a belief in a system that that business is going to be successful if you purchase it. It's all the same when you break it down. It's all the same. Um, I'll be dropping references all night tonight, and I have some books that I'm gonna share at the end of the show. So, um, one of the references that you can go check out is called the Energy of Money. The Energy of Money by Mary Namath. And I told you guys at the beginning of my shows, um, when I first started, I'm about peer reviews. I'm not going to bring you something that I don't know what I'm talking about. It's I'm trying to give you a master class on the subject matter that I'm bringing, that I'm trying to convey to you. Um, you have to think about the role of spiritual energy in business. What role does that play? Right? What role does spiritual energy play? How does uh how does your intuition play a role in your decision making when it comes to running your business? What is leading you to have those positive outcomes? There's some spiritual energy in that. You have to believe that, right? It's not coming from and unless you're AI and you could rattle off information and from memory from business books or seminars and conferences that you've been to. It's all energy, you know. It's energy that is guiding you to make those decisions. It's what's influencing you. People people fail to realize that there is a higher power. There is an inner voice. What is that? That's It's all energy. It's all energy. um I've had to make, in my career of being an entrepreneur, I've had to make several business decisions. Some good, some bad, you know. Um, when I had the my first business, this personal experience. My first business I owned old to new car care. is a detailing, auto detailing. I think I was maybe 21, 22, something like that. I was young, but it wasn't sustainable. I had to let it go. Um, we had it was oftentimes that I had too much work. My employees were not properly trained as I am, so me being a perfectionist and then having to go back over their work was a problem, and it wasn't sustainable. I had to take a step back and look at it from a broader scope, look at it from different aspects of this is the present. Where do I see it in the future? How can, if I improve these measures, is the business going to be able to improve? And at the time, I had to make a decision. I had to make a decision and ultimately say, you know what, I won't be able to uh, continue with this business. But there's always lessons. It's not a there's no failures. It's all lessons, right? All lessons. Another personal business decision that I made when I was the had a record label. Oh boy, the many lessons that I learned from owning that record label. And I had that record label from at its core and at its peak was from 2010 to probably about 2015. Um, there were a lot of decisions that had to be made. Artists come and go. A lot of artists didn't make the cut. Everyone thinks they're the most talented, and you have to give them the realization that they're not as talented as they think they are. And you know, everyone has a huge ego. I had a series on here that I dropped early on a podcast that was talking about killing the ego. Everybody thinks they're the best, right? Everybody thinks that no one is better than them. If you're in that space, you can't be trained. You can't be educated. And especially if you don't know the business, you haven't sold wood. That was the thing I used to tell people. I'm like, bro, how can you be so arrogant? You haven't sold wood yet. Like, albums go gold, silver, platinum, you and diamond. You haven't sold wood, and the nerve of the arrogance. This is a personal experience, man. Just little things that I've gone through. Being a business owner, and fast forwarding to now, getting this IT company off the ground, which is my new baby. Um, you know, you're probably asking, how does spiritual energy contribute to being resilient during challenging times in business? You're going to meet a lot of challenges. There's there's nothing more, maybe raising a child, because I did a contrast on that where they're very similar, right? You're raising a child is probably the most challenging thing you can do. Not only as a single parent, but as co-parenting. It's Raising a child is not easy. Same thing with a business. Starting a business and the business going from an idea to a business, because the idea is an idea. It doesn't become a business until you know. When it becomes a business, now it's on its next growth path. And the next growth path is turning that business to something successful and continuing that business to be successful. 60% of all businesses fail in the first 5 years. So it's like marriage. You know, marriages fail, businesses fail. You want to get past that hump. You want to get past that 5 year mark. And we're going to talk about that and how to do that. Um, it has to be a deeper purpose. The spirituality in starting it has to be a deeper purpose than just making money. It has to be a deeper purpose. That's part of it. Having a deeper purpose, having the inner strength to overcome the obstacles, the stress. You will be stressed out. You will be stressed out. Um, I'm I'm just I'm just thinking, man, the amount of stress that I've seen and endured over my lifetime, whether I don't know. I just I like being a part of the difficult stuff. I think it's something embedded in me that just makes me like, you know what? That looks challenging. Won't you go do that? Yeah, you want to go fly a plane? Yeah, go fly a plane. I was flying planes, people, and I don't know why that I'm like that, but I've always stepped front in front of the most difficult challenges just to see if I'm able. And then once I get the fix, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good. But that's that inner spiritual strength. That's that resilience. That's that divine energy, divine intelligence that's pushing you and making you say, you know what? I can handle it. I'll go do forward. I'll go forward and do great things. It's the energy of your higher self. It's amazing what the human mind can do. It's amazing what we as a people, what we as a society can do once we're able and focused on a particular pathway. We can put our minds to great things and make great things happen. We can do it. We all were born pretty much the same way. We all have the same 24-hour clock. You know, it's about what you feed this, what you feed this, what you feed your soul that gives you that trinity, right? Of power and energy that give you that divine push that you don't know where it's coming from, but you're able to do it. Divine, yes, divine frequency. That's what I'm talking about. Some practical techniques that I could recommend for practicing your spiritual energy and your growth is journaling. Practice journaling. All right. I journal. I whiteboard. Having visual boards, vision boards, meditation. Meditation is very important. Having a calm mind. Having a calm mind is very, very important to being successful and being able to, yes, hydrate and being able to uh, grasp the idea of what you're trying to do and push it forward. You have to have a calm mind to do that. If your mind is full of clutter and drama and you're not in a clean space, you're not going to be able to focus on what you're trying to do. You know, you won't be able to focus on and um, connecting with nature is also very good. I talked about being grounded and going outside to ground yourself. All those things are connected to uh, having that spiritual energy that, yes. And I'm reading, so you're probably guys like, what is he? I'm reading some of the comments, and I'm getting a lot of comments on IG. Water is a conductor. It helps the currency flow through you. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, it's important to maintain balance, work-life balance. It's important to have spiritual balance with your practices. You have to have silence to be able to take on these business demands, right? And once you start building a team, then you can allegate, allegate, delegate. I'm sorry, talking too fast sometimes. You can delegate. Once you're able to delegate, you can take on bigger tasks, right? You have more time to take on the CEO role, and you can delegate some of the other roles to your team members or people who are working for you, right? You got to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries. You if you I recommend using a calendar, right? You using a calendar, creating some type of time management. You need uh exercise. I didn't mention exercise. Exercise and great diet all play a huge part, and being able to have that spiritual energy and that divine presence to be able to help you get through these stressful moments when you're owning a business. um Spiritual practices, part of your daily routine, eating the right food, making sure you're working out. All these things are essential. Time management, but time management and setting boundaries are huge, are huge. My recommendation is make sure you have a calendar and set forth that calendar. You know, put the time you wake. If you don't wake, I haven't used an alarm clock since I was a kid. I wake up every morning at the same time. I don't care what time I go to bed, but have a detailed outline of what your day looks like. If you wake up at 5:45 to go to the gym at 6, you work out for an hour, hour and a half, you then your day really starts, right? You after you work out, I like to have spiritual meditation. From there, I might have some breakfast and coffee, and from there, I'm plugging away at the business, plugging away at marketing, social media, all of those things, making making sure I reach all my contact points, my emails, answering uh, business calls, taking notes, making recommendations. All these things playing that part of plugging away, right? You People like Oprah, who you know is a billionaire, and Richard Branson, they have holistic approaches. You can check out some of their holistic approaches to how they use their spiritual energy to have the level of success that they have. And it doesn't start when you're successful. It starts from the ground. It starts at the you have to have these nurturing and these these points of growth. You have to have this schedule. I'm gonna call it schedule fortitude, right? Because that's what you're building. You're building yourself up. You're building up the idea. You're building up that energy. And these practices. Your mind is getting stronger. Your mental is getting stronger. You physically are getting stronger. Your spirituality is getting stronger, right? Because what you're going to be taking on is going to take all of those elements, and all of those elements have to be balanced out to be able to, excuse me, to take on that business that you're starting, that idea, that creativity that you're putting out there, the writing of a book, a script, whatever it is you're taking on. You have to be grounded. Most people don't succeed because they're not disciplined. They're not disciplined. So if you're not building that fortitude of discipline in the beginning, you can't do it in the middle. You can't do it at the end. You have to do it in the beginning. And it grows as you grow, as the business grows. So, yeah, man, there's a lot of books out there. And I still got plenty of time. There are a lot of books out there. Do it yourself. There's, of course, YouTube. And then, hey, you're listening to The Final Boss, my podcast. I'm trying to bring you. Yes, I have Napoleon Hill. Absolutely. Absolutely. Napoleon Hill is a great book. I think all business owners and entrepreneurs should at least own Napoleon Hill's book. Um, you you have to stay motivated. You think motivation comes from nothing? No, that's divine energy that's making you motivated, right? Because you don't know if it's going to be in the beginning. You don't know if it's going to be successful. You don't know if you're going to make money or it's going to be something that is going to help society. You don't know. You don't. Not in the beginning, but you're still motivated, right? You're still motivated. So you got to keep pushing. And that push is that divine energy. Incorporate all those things in your journey. It's all in your journey. Somebody just asked, spiritual energy influence business. Yes, yes, yes. And that's what we're diving into. That's what the conversation is about. The concept of spiritual energy as it relates to business. There's implications of entrepreneurship and practical techniques for harnessing that power, harnessing that energy to make you thrive, to make the business thrive, because that's what you want, right? You want the business to thrive and be successful. Um, Spiritual energy refers to it's your it's your inner drive. We talked about that in the beginning. And for those who just who are just joining us, yeah, Ma, you're right. It's all about the mindset, but it's deeper. It's so much deeper than the mindset. But the mindset is number one. Number one is the mindset. The mindset to stay positive. The mindset to continue to have the strength through the struggle, and to know that you have to keep going. You have to know that what you're doing it's laid in concrete, and you have to push forward. And you're going to be pushing forward through multiple ceilings, what I like to call ceilings, right? You grow until you get to a point, and you hit a stopping point, and I call those ceilings. Then you have to go through that ceiling, and you grow more, and then you reach another stopping point. And you're like, and then you go through that ceiling. And you're going to go through so many ceilings creating that business. But having the mindset, the divine energy, the divine intelligence to move forward, to push through and keep pushing, right? There's a book out there called The Seven Spiritual Laws of Success, and that's by Deepak Chopra. It's a great book. Go check it out. Um, Unfortunately, I don't have a bottle of water with me, so sometimes my words they get jumbled up because I need some water. So I might take a bio break in a second before we continue. But um, um, yeah, go check out that book by Deepak, The Seven Spiritual Laws of Success. Write that down. Um, I had to make a decision about trying to expand a company that I started. A little bit about this company. I had a idea that I was bringing to fruition. It was an app. It's called Barbers to Go. Barbers to Go was my baby early on, where I decided that, and I got the idea from being in the military. You know, a lot of military soldiers everywhere we travel to. One of the first things we do when we land, we're concerned with going to get a haircut or going to get your hair done. Nobody wanted to go on base to uh, get a haircut or get their hair done. So I had an idea to create an app that showed the map of the world or the globe and the different all the barbers and the stylists can go in there, sign up, and you go to the app, you register. Once you're on the app, you put in your location, and the barber or the stylist uh, will populate. And then you can add reviews. But then I had an idea. I said, man, I can broaden this idea to cover all hospitality services, right? So I'm talking to my web guy, and he's phenomenal. He crazy guy, man. And he was creating my vision, and it was coming together. And that app was expensive. That app was so expensive, man. Trying to get this thing off the ground, and because not only were we talking about barbers, cosmetologists, now we're talking about nail salons. Uh, we're talking about massage parlors. We're talking about the gamut of everything within the hospitality network, and having it in multiple languages, having it covering multiple currencies at the time. This was what? This was 20 years ago that I had this idea. And we were working on it, plugging away, and it became I just I couldn't I couldn't afford to continue in the path that we were going because it became too expensive. The amount of security and plugins and everything that was involved with the app. I ended up selling it, and there was a company afterwards. I don't know if they had the same they came it came from the same idea, but they were able to come away with it. It's called Booksy. And you can check them out, booksy.com. Um, and their evaluation, I think their evaluation of the company right now is somewhere around 200, 300 million a year or something like that. Something like that. But I had that idea 20 something years ago, and we were working on that. And I saw it, man. I saw the vision, I saw the bait, and I ended up turning it from Barbers to Go because the scope was too small. And I'm always thinking broader. So I changed the scope from Barbers to Go to BlueRaw.com. And Blue Raw was going to be, you know how these tech companies, they come up with a word, and then that word, we don't know what the word means, but they create a word. That's how a lot of businesses who become corporations are able to excel. It's part of the logo. You're creating something from nothing. So BlueRaw.com became this app that was going to cover all of hospitality services around the globe. So no matter where you travel to, you can receive the necessary services that you're looking for. The companies register on the app um, for a small fee, and you, as the customer, you're able to go in there, log in, create an account, and of course, there's going to be advertisement all over the place, man. And then, you know, there was going to be a social media aspect to it also. But that's one of my little personal stories, man. And um those ideas of that business, Booksy's doing very well. I I realized my true purpose a long time ago, being wanting to be an entrepreneur or serial entrepreneur. Um, when I went to school to get my first degree is in business with a concentration in entrepreneurship. Working on my master's in management with a concentration in leadership. So that's my space, and I'm trying to be a master or give these master classes with this podcast, and be able to help and develop you you business owners out there, you people who have great ideas, who are entrepreneur. Hit me up hit me up at info at the finalbosspodcast.com. um my my guest show, which I usually have Mike on Tuesdays. He's a great asset as well, and you can hit both of us up on either social media or through email, and we're on all platforms. But if you want to send me an email, you can send me an email at info at the final boss podcast.com, all one word. And I'll try to get back to you in 1 or 2 business days. But that's what I'm here for. I'm here to give back. I'm here to be a branch on the tree, right? That branch that bears fruit, and be able to reach and touch and help others. Will be the root of of part of be a root part of somebody's foundation, helping them grow, right? Helping them grow and become the business owner or entrepreneur that they're interested in. So you have to align yourselves with positive people. Positive people is a part of that energy. It's a part of having that divine energy and divine intelligence coming together as a whole, and be able to work on that idea together collectively. That's divine. That's energy, man. That's energy. Um, we talked about we talked about the stress and the setbacks in business. I keep talking about it because you don't understand the level of stress. Like with Blue Rod, it was, oh man, it was so stressful. Uh yeah, boy, it was so stressful. But I believed in it, and I pushed and plug, pushed and plug, pushed and plug. And man, um, when I realized that the idea itself was going to take hundreds of thousands, if not million of dollars to come together, as because I'm thinking broader. I wasn't thinking locally. I usually don't think locally. I know there's there's a lot of positivity in thinking local. There's successes in thinking local, but I can't do it. Like for some reason, my brain be like, nope, you got to go bigger. So nothing against anyone who does local business or who is successful in their local business. I just my mind just makes me go bigger. So um a few references in reference to you facing challenges. There's a book called The Resilience Factor by, and I'm gonna jack her name up. I'm gonna jack these names up. Karen Rivich and Andrew Shate. The book discusses spiritual practices and how you can build resilience. Um, I lost the book. Hold on. In the beginning, I talked about setting boundaries when we were talking about um, time management, setting boundaries. Um, you have to designate a specific time for spiritual practice. Yes, you have to designate and stick to these these foundation practices. That's how you become successful. You have to have it. You won't be successful if you don't have the discipline. Another reference, Essentialism, the Disciplined Pursuit of Less by Greg McCowan. The importance of focusing on what's truly essential. That's another good book that you can go check out. Um, I encourage I I encourage each and every last one of you to start small. Right? You don't have to start big. Start small. Start small. Integrate one spiritual practice a day. Get comfortable with it. Then you add another layer. Then you add another layer, and until you come together with your spiritual practice plan that you utilize. Consistency is key. Being disciplined and consistency is key. Over time, these practices will yield results. You're going to grow. The business is going to grow, but you have to be disciplined. You have to set forth and you have to set forth and go with the idea that you're going to be successful. You have to do that. You have to have humility. You have to have the desiring mindset that you want to contribute to humanity. You have to do these things. You won't be successful if you don't. I wish I could take some questions for people. If you have a question, I got a few more minutes before we close out. Um, yes, the burning desire, the passion. Um, Sometimes you might come into a problem where you have to look at your idea and say, you know what? I need to reevaluate. We're not hitting these targets. Your goals are misaligned. Just take a step back and reevaluate your business model. Find areas where your personal values can be integrated into the business. It's something you're comfortable with. All right. Oh, we got a question. How does one maintain vibrational momentum in this environment? My answer, this is on Instagram, to beauty is science. My answer to that is you have to go silent. And you can go silent through meditation. Turn off the phones, turn off your TV, and meditate. Go silent. The the vibration, the energy is so high right now because we're transitioning. We're transitioning from uh, one space, and you hear a lot of spiritualists. They're speaking of it right now. We're going from a masculine energy to a more feminine vibration, and that's just the energy. So, um, and anytime you have a transition of anything, anytime you have a transition of anything, there's going to be difficulties. There's going to be challenges. There's never a challenge. There's never a transition that is easy. You learn that from a child. from crawling to walking, from walking to talking, from talking to going to school, from going to school, and from elementary school to the next grade level. They're all challenges. We've been facing challenges every day throughout our entire life. It's all transitional, and no transition is easy. So you have to be mindful of that. But I hope that answers your question. Um, Miss Beauty is Science on Instagram. I hope that answers your question. Um, but like I said, reevaluate your business. Um, if you have a team, introduce these things to your team. You know, reach one, teach one. Iron sharpens iron. If I got a team, I want my team to know what I know. Right? That's what good leaders do. Good leaders, they bring their their team up, not from the bottom. They bring their team up to where they are. That's what a good leader does. Lace those bootstraps up. Pull them out of bootstrap. That's what a good leader does. I like to think of things from a military aspect is every team member needs to know what I know as the team lead because um, there's finite details that can get you killed on the battlefield. Unfortunately, I didn't. I might get gigs for that, but you get the idea. I, man, you got to watch these words, and that's one of those words that social media don't like. I hope I don't get in trouble for it. Um, but yeah, your team should know what you know and show them the benefits of having the mindset of having that spiritual energy and the belief. Because if you got a team and they believing in what you're believing in, and you're able to move forward with that and function as a team because they believe in what you're selling, that's a hell of a thing. And we see that in all the different political spaces. We see that. So, you know, um, in summary, we discuss spiritual energy and the pivotal role that it has with entrepreneurship and being a business owner. Um, how it affects decision making. How does it affect fostering resilience? Tapping into that energy when you need to increase productivity and many other benefits. Um, here's a call to action. I like doing call to actions. Um, every episode we like to do a call to action. Take time to explore your own spiritual practices. See how they can influence your journey of becoming an entrepreneur or a business owner. Check out different resources, workshops, conferences, YouTube, social media. Um, you know, there's a lot of information out there. If you want to be successful, you can. If you have if you have the divine intelligence, energy, you can be successful. You definitely can. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in for tonight's show. Spiritual energy and becoming an entrepreneur and harnessing that power. I'm Turbo the CEO. I hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you've taken great notes. Oh, we talked about alchemy, right? Here's a book, The Alchemist. It's a great book. You want to learn how you bring something from nothing and cultivate that. Here's another great book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Highly recommend. You want to be successful, you want to be a business owner, highly recommend this book. 7 practices, right? And going good to great. All right. Hope everyone can see it. Another one, you know, going from good to great. I dropped a few other books as a reference on tonight's show. If you want, please go rewatch, take notes. Please continue to support. I'm trying to bring you guys a masterclass on whatever subject matter I'm bringing to you. Like, share, subscribe on all platforms. And that's going to do it for us. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. And I bid you a farewell, a good night. See you again on Tuesday with my guest, Big Mike. He should be back on Tuesday. And you have an amazing week. Go forth and be great. And that's our show for tonight. Love you all. Peace.